Welcome to Mission Side Television. It's a blessing to be with you again. And as always, as each week, we have some amazing individuals that we're going to be visiting with today. To my far right, we have a name that, she said, you should have heard my maiden name, but this is Leiken Finch. And how'd you say that maiden name again?
Ulivarai.
Isn't that a pretty name? Beautiful name, Leiken. So good to have you today.
Thank you.
And then
Thanks
to
for
my
having us.
immediate right, we have Jaclyn Harwell. So welcome to both
Thank
of you
you.
ladies.
Thank you for having us.
And I enjoyed our short visit before we came on.
Yes, sir.
But I'm looking forward to hearing what you two ladies are engaged in. We talked about two topics that I'm sure we're going to cover. So let's start with this event that you two are both, tell me the role that you have in this upcoming event, because it was, they were talking about it when we were doing the forum for the governors and the attorney generals. It was kind of stirring around, and I got a little confused. Which forum is this? So tell us which forum y'all are working on.
So I wouldn't call it a forum. I would probably call it just a conference, just to bring awareness, to inform and get people involved. And it's called America First, the West Texas edition. So we want all of West Texas, or even if you're in surrounding counties, just come on.
Come on down.
Yeah, come on. And we're going to be visiting and going over medical tyranny, election integrity, and freedom in general.
Wow. Did you hear that? They're going to be going over medical tyranny. Sounds like an interesting topic, doesn't it? Voter fraud or election integrity, however you want to say it.
Yes.
Those will be two of the main topics at this conference.
Yes.
Okay. Any others in particular? Now, who are some of the speakers?
So we have Jackie Schlegel. She founded Texans for Vaccine Choice. She's going to be teaching us a little bit about what we can be doing as individuals on grassroots levels. We have Laura Logan. She, I see you smiling. She's going to be a little bit,
A little fire.
Right. She will be a heavy hitter that's going to bring us some good information as well. Doesn't shy away from the truth. Let's see, who else?
Casey Gray, and he's one of our America First candidates who's running for state representative right now, and
against Brooks Landgraf. Yeah.
And
Casey was in that last U.S. congressional race that I was engaged in. Yeah.
He was, and he doesn't really shy away from the truth either. He just kind of tells it like it is. You know, he's Christian, pro-life, pro-2A, pro all of the things that we need.
Very important.
Including, I did not know this until recently, having a plan for adoption agencies and how to have that suit better for people. Well,
they've done some adopting, I understand, in their family even, haven't they?
I don't know.
I believe they have.
Well, it's a hard system to get into, and he just wants to make it easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We'll also have Dr. Ben Edwards out of Lubbock. His clinic is called Veritas.
Yes.
So he's going to be talking to us about what we can be doing to protect our bodies on an individual level. Obviously, that's a big deal right now, is protecting our bodies against disease that is going around.
And isn't Dr. Edwards, isn't he holistic? I mean,
Yes. He runs a functional medicine clinic.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he's pretty excited to be allowed the opportunity to speak about medical freedom from his standpoint, because he goes against the grain of almost all doctors that you hear in the hospitals.
Well, and that is such a blessing. In fact, as I was mentioning to you earlier about the recent 3-part series that we did on some of these topics, we had Dr. Ryan McWhorter, who has the Alabama Functional Medicine. So he's of the same nature. He was a medical doctor running hard, and he had a woman that he'd done everything he could for, and nothing was happening. She was worse and worse and worse, and he began to dig into some natural things, tried it, and I'm telling you, had an amazing recovery and relief of all of the pain she was enduring, and his life and direction turned that way entirely.
I think they
and I've
probably
heard
have a
wonderful
similar story.
Right. Yeah. I think once doctors see some of the ways that they can actually help patients get to the root causes of their illness, they can't turn back.
Well, you really can't. You know, and that's very close to our heart because my wife, in her mid to late 30s, began to have some type of an issue where there were more days she could not get out of bed than she could, and was frightened. But her legs, they didn't want to function. They didn't want to work. Well, we went to medical doctors, neurologists, and they said, oh, you have 20 of 21 symptoms of MS. And we had no peace that was the answer. And so we continued to pray. Well, they sent us to more neurologists. Same thing. They'd say, you've got 19 of 20 of 21, whatever. And we had these little old cassette tapes. Some of you new viewers might not know what a cassette tape is, but of a doctor in Oklahoma that talked about the relativity of specific sin and the physical manifestations. How a certain thing will affect certain organs. Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
And we got to listening to this, and it bore witness, and we called for an appointment. Went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to a doctor of this nature we're talking about here that had turned his practice wholly and totally to a natural path. He does this Zyto technology out of Germany, basically is where it originated. And I mean, it'll test everything so quickly.
Yeah.
He came back and said, no, you do not have MS. He said, if you will follow this nutritional protocol over the next supplemental protocol, over the next X months, 9 months, you will be virtually free. Your body will strengthen itself to the point that it brings a virus within your body into submission. And it worked. She's never dealt with it again.
Amen. I love
Is
it.
that a fun story?
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank y'all for working with guys like Dr. Ben Edwards.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what the day looks like over at America First.
So we don't want to disclose the times just yet because we want people to come for the whole entire event. We want everybody to hear about the voter fraud, election integrity.
Now, will Louis Gohmert speak to any of that?
We don't know exactly what Louis is speaking out specifically. I think he's going to touch a bunch of different subjects. So Captain Seth Keshel and Dreza Smith, who are both did work with President Donald Trump with his whole scandal of voter fraud and election integrity. They actually study all the reports and the machines and we'll disclose this information about where our hot spots are in West Texas, like where we're faulting and how we can do better.
Wow.
And
Fantastic.
so we're working on some information for them right now. So
Awesome.
it should be
okay,
really
so
good.
how do people get to the conference? What's required?
A body.
A body.
A warm body.
Show up.
Yes.
Okay, show up.
We can go on the WagnerNoel.com and you can purchase tickets there, and it's under the America First Conference. It's an all-day event on February 26th from 9 to 5.
What day is that?
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay.
And so we'll have a few speakers in the morning, break for lunch, and we have a select few VIP tickets for meet and greet, so you can ask them personal questions and have lunch with them. And then we'll come back to the conference and then get fired up and get to working.
Do some more.
Yes.
Awesome. So what are y'all doing right now to stir the people up to get there? I mean, what are some of the things? Because, don't you think that one of the issues we have as to why we're having as many problems as we do is people have been so lethargic?
Absolutely. Lots of complacency.
Lots of complacency.
So we're fighting against censorship on social media to share it. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Well, welcome to our world, right? Yeah.
Yes.
The YouTube censored, I believe, 2 of those 3 shows that we did recently. Yeah. That's why we got to find some other formats on the streaming side.
Yeah.
So what are you doing then to get around some of the censorship? Because
we have hired or just found some friends that that can run social and political ads, because ours keep getting rejected.
Okay.
And apparently it takes a long time to get approved to run those. And so we've just started running social media ads this week. We're on several radio stations this week. We're thankful for you for letting us come on and advertise it this way. And we're just spreading the word at all the events that we can right now with flyers.
Yeah, it's really grassroots, right?
Grassroots
That is,
Yes.
that's the name of the game for all of it.
There you go. Well, when you use the phrase medical tyranny, what are you saying?
We have a lot to say about that, actually.
Okay. Because you girls have taken a very specific targeted interest in that even before
Sure.
this conference.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's kind of like our specialty. Of course, like we love hearing about the grassroots efforts involved politically and helping the politicians and helping expose voter fraud and election integrity.
Sure.
But medical tyranny right now, it's criminal.
It is criminal.
Yeah.
In fact, I have gone so far recently as to deem it genocide.
It is.
Yeah.
It's genocide.
Yeah. I saw a quote recently that estimated at least 500,000 people could have been saved in the hospitals if we were using protocols that work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they insisted protocols that work not be used.
Correct. Yeah.
And they still are. You cannot advocate in the hospitals for your
Ivermectin,
loved one.
hydroxychloroquine.
Correct. Yeah, I actually have a personal experience with that. My husband got pretty sick with COVID back in September, and it took some work to get him ivermectin. Probably about day 10, I started getting kind of worried. Finally found somebody that would give us the ivermectin prescription, and he turned right around very quickly.
Ivermectin, the beautiful thing is it'll work at just about any stage.
Apparently so,
That's what I understand.
if you get it at the right dosage.
Right.
I think there's some incidences where we're not getting a high enough dosage, or doctors are just refusing to prescribe it.
So let me ask this: you two how long have y'all been? This has been a passion for you, medical tyranny.
Well, we've been pretty outspoken on social media since COVID started, because we knew it wasn't going to be
Something
2
wasn't
weeks to flatten the
smelling
curve.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
How did y'all know that? I mean, what's the background that you two would?
we're conspiracy realists.
Okay, I love it. Conspiracy realists. Here we go. Right.
I actually like to call it a little thing called discernment.
Yeah, I think we've been given that. Haven't
Yeah. Honestly, I have been awake to what you might call medical tyranny for over 10 years.
Have you? Really?
I have. I started researching some of this when my kids were very small, and recognizing that maybe mainstream medical practices were not working so well for my own children or my own health.
Wow.
And so I've kind of been on this path towards functional
Uncovering.
medicine and these types of discoveries for over a
Revelation.
decade. Absolutely. So, when you're already awake to some of the tyranny that is taking place on a regular basis in every pediatrician's office,
Right.
it doesn't take much to smell something stinky when something like this is taking place.
Well, I heard the other day that the typical doctor over the past 12 months has earned an additional $150,000 to $250,000 for recommending vaccinations.
Goodness.
Every patient he is paid for the vaccination, and it's not even a vaccination, it's a cell therapy thing. It
Correct.
did not pass any of the 5 protocol
Right.
to be a vaccination. But the boosters and everything, medical doctors are being paid by
Right.
the government for the recommendation
Right.
of that. And that's what it's done to their bottom line. So you've got a conflict of interest there in my honest
Absolutely.
opinion.
And Dr. Bartlett will even tell you, like, there's a secular worldview and there's a biblical worldview.
Exactly.
And the doctors who have a biblical worldview will listen to people and help them and
Yes.
want them to get better. And the secular doctors, they want to send pigs to harvest because they get paid for it.
Exactly.
Honestly, that was one of the things that woke me up 10 years ago, was learning that doctors get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies when a high percentage of their patient load is vaccinated. So yeah, there's absolutely a conflict of interest.
Absolutely. And we don't discredit all doctors. There are some amazing physicians.
Dr. Bartlett being one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dr. Edwards.
Dr.
Yes.
McWhorter, Dr. Edwards.
Yes.
Oh, golly. Well,
if they got canceled, then they're a good doctor.
Correct.
There you
right.
go. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Dr. Robbins, Dr. Joel Robbins. We of course, we've interviewed Dr. Robbins, Dr. Bartlett, Dr. McWhorter. We're going to the conference in Montgomery. Hopefully going to talk to Dr. Malone.
Oh, that would be excellent.
Yeah, well.
And so.
Is that the weekend of the 26th also?
Oh, gosh,
24th.
I think it might be.
Is that the Life Conference? Or something different?
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So anyway, back to medical tyranny. Now we're uncovering right now why it's the problem that it is. It's back to what I was explaining earlier about our leadership and what Jethro told Moses.
Right.
It's that last thing in that list, not given to covetousness. But that greed, that covetousness, is just, if someone does not have their grounding in integrity, in a love for the Lord or fear of God, then they are susceptible to that. One thing I'll tell quickly, and we'll get on here. You said 10 years ago. About 15 years ago, I was in Alabama. My cousin was married to a well-renowned diabetic doctor. And we were driving out to their lake house, and we were just visiting. And for years, at that time already, he had spoken on behalf of pharmaceutical companies to doctor conferences. They would have, hundreds of doctors, and he would speak to them and tell about these new drugs that were being introduced that would do these amazing things. And in that conversation that day, he said, Jamie, and they pay him big bucks. I mean, we're talking $10,000, $20,000 for a 30-minute speech kind of a thing, And he said, I really don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to continue doing that. He said, they have virtually ceased providing me with any substantive research of what they're asking me to say.
Oh, gosh.
That's from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Supporting again what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he came to that realization.
I know. And so coming back to this, so how receptive are people? Have they been to you when you start talking about medical tyranny?
A lot have been pretty quiet, that they don't want to speak up with us, that they are on our side, but they don't want to lose, their careers or their reputation.
Yeah. I mean, and certainly there's plenty of pushback.
Yes.
It just depends, I think, on kind of, you talked about like the heart posture earlier. So is your heart, in a place to receive this new information, or are you someone who isn't open to learning about somebody's lived experience with this stuff?
Wow.
So.
Well said. Well said. So how did the two of you get connected?
Well, I think we both
learned of the common passion?
We did. We knew each other on social media first and kind of noticed each other was speaking out about the same things, and we thought, we should be friends.
Yeah, and Jaclyn's like, didn't want to live up to the status quo of hiding in your house during COVID. She's like, hey, do you want to come over? Yes, I do.
That is exactly what I did. Yeah, I just kind of got together a group of girlfriends, and I said, who wants to have a girls' night, because I need to see people.
Yes. I don't do this thing. Yeah,
yes.
I need people.
Absolutely.
I love that. And y'all, isn't the word clear that we better not be forsaking the assembly, and all the more as we see the day approaching. And y'all, if we're not living in some tyrannical times and end time things, I'll pay for lying. I think one of the things right now, and I am not a bearer of bad news. In fact, I love to encourage is my thing. But right now, what I want to be encouraging people in is their relationship with their maker. so that they are ready for these days, these horrific days that are forthcoming. Because did y'all hear Dr. Boschi? And I say this often on here because it just rattled me when he said it, but Dr. Boschi, the Nobel Prize winner, that said the next 18 months ago, he said the next major issue that the world will face are mass graves.
I hadn't heard that.
Now, let me tell you, that's serious, and you may not want to hear that, but that's what he said. Well, Dr. McWhorter shared that the numbers for 20 to 55-year-old deaths is up 40%.
I saw that with life insurance policies, how their numbers are up 40%.
Yes.
And it's unheard of.
Yes. Well, those are the days that we're in. And so I cannot tell you how grateful I am for what you ladies are about, and I believe the Lord's raised you up for this hour to encourage people. So how can we help what y'all are doing? I mean, have you formed anything, or you're just doing social media?
So we formed a small group, and we call it the Texas Freedom Alliance, and it's just to raise awareness about the situation.
TFR?
Yes,
TFA?
TFA, yeah,
Okay.
TFA. Texas
And so
Freedom.
is it
It's
a
an
nonprofit, or is it?
It's just a very informal group. It's just
Okay.
about raising awareness. There's no money involved in it whatsoever. So right now,
Texas Freedom Alliance.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's just a Facebook page that we
Let's
spread
be sure and get
information.
that on here, Brian. Texas Freedom Alliance. It's just a Facebook page that.
It's just about spreading awareness and getting information to people. That's all it really is right now.
Okay.
It's not a nonprofit. Maybe one day it'll turn into something, but I don't even know how any of that works. So.
Right.
So what people can do, I think a lot of us from the beginning felt that little bit of discernment, something's not right here. I want to encourage people to be brave in those one-on-one conversations with people. A lot of times the opposing viewpoint can be very oppressive. A lot of times this side of things we feel like we can't speak up because it's unloving, or heaven forbid we are associated with racism or some fringe thing, right? Because they've done a very good job of dividing us. We are either on this side or this side. Right. But the truth is we're all humans and we want to be free. Absolutely. And we were granted that by our maker.
Yes.
And so I just want to encourage people to be brave in those one-on-one conversations. You don't have to be an activist, but when you know something isn't right, I just want to encourage people to speak up.
If we love people, we'll tell them the truth.
Yeah.
That's what
Right?
we've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not lying to you. And if
No.
you are, we will take that corrective criticism.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
Yes.
But I want you to look at these facts. I want you to do some digging for yourself instead of just taking what is spoken.
Absolutely.
The narrative of
Right.
Right.
And
the news.
The truth is we don't have anything to gain from sticking our necks out.
You just said there's no money exchanging hands on this deal. Yeah.
No. So
You just have a genuine love for the welfare and well-being of people.
absolutely. And
you
for the
don't-
truth.
Speak the truth. Speak
Yeah.
the truth in love.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And that's what, I really, and I've seen that for years in our ministry, and the Lord dealt with me early on that is really our call. Speak truth in love. If we really love someone, we will speak the truth.
Right.
It's just like your children. You both have children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, if we don't tell those children where they're out of line, they'll not know they're out of line.
Right.
Yeah. A
And it
problem
will
now.
reap their destruction, their imminent destruction.
The
True.
problem now, though, is everybody's so sensitive to, the rebuking. And so
True.
it's hard to get across people because they just instantly remove you from their lives if you call them out on something.
Right.
Right. Well, but you know what? And I want to exhort you. You heard what was just said, and I want to encourage you. Don't be one of those. Listen up to facts and truth and things that are being shared, and go do your own research.
Absolutely.
is it first line doctors or whatever? Boy, that's a large group of doctors now.
Right.
Frontline doctors.
Frontline doctors.
Yes.
Frontline doctors.
Yeah.
Go look them up today. Go read some of the material that they have up that will reveal facts to you and truths to you. Leiken and Jaclyn, I really do want to thank both of you again.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we really appreciate you. It's not often you get to
Just
be outspoken
vent
on
like
television.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that is our heart, is to share truth. We hope people know that we love them. We put the Lord first and try to speak what it is that we believe He's desiring we speak. And you two are speaking truth.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Well, hopefully we can meet again. And one more time, that conference is?
It's on February 26th from 9 to 5 at the Wagner Well here in Midland, Texas.
And that's where they register. They can go online
Yes,
to Wagner.
WagnerNoel.com. That's
Okay.
the only place that has tickets right now.
Okay. How much are tickets?
They're $30 to $50.
Okay. Depending on the VIP.
So the VIPs are actually $250, but that includes a private meet and greet,
Wow.
a catered lunch. It's going to be pretty special, but those tickets are pretty limited. So
Okay.
if you want those, I'd probably snag
Gotcha.
them now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
The Lord
Yes.
bless you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bless you.
Welcome to Wow Warehouse. Are you ready for the cold, windy days to be behind us and the wonderful, beautiful spring begin to set in? Well, that's what we're ready for at Wow. And we have brought in more pots for your spring planting. We have brought in more gorgeous home decor pots for your new homes or your new patio areas. We have brought in new jewelry lines that are going to be so much fun this spring. And our new metal art selection, wow. You can have everything from metal flowers that you don't have to worry about killing with too much water or too little water. You can have our amazing spinners that just brighten up and bring a lot of movement into your yard. There are just so many things that wow for you to come and look at. We have a number of new Christian gift lines that we're very excited about, that individuals have really been enjoying for birthday gifts, for wedding gifts, and for any number of things. So we just hope to see you soon over at WOW as the temperature changes. The Lord bless you and keep you. WOW, 815 North Grandview in Odessa.